microphone and
I'll just keep blaming him for some reason. I don't know why.
Dude, the poor guy's sitting in the dark.
well, you know what it is? The lights on the sides of me.
Yeah.
You know, if it was daylight, you know, then you'd really be in a horror show here. But I don't have any lights coming at me, you know.
Yeah, I can't risk the background music. That's really weird. Like YouTube will just flag a video straight away. Like it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, folks. But anyway, we'll bear with it for a bit.
Is it coming through my end or what?
No, look, maybe it's something to do with interference on my side. It could be, but I mean, I'm not playing any music or anything. I just figured music was
on my microphone. See what happens.
Yeah, I can still hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it whether his mic is on or not.
It sounds like it's an 80s radio station. Absolutely 80s. So it's an American station, so one of you guys has some interference.
Well, I'll tell you, the town that I live in, we don't get any radio reception. So it's not from me.
All right. Well,
it's not from the radio waves.
I don't know what we should do because, yeah, that sort of stuff will flag, and that's the last thing I need because it becomes a huge hassle. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
My guitar amp was doing it.
I don't think any one of us is doing it. It's just coming from somewhere outside.
Does everybody hear it, or is it just Shane?
Yeah.
Maybe she. Oh, okay.
So, you know, it's coming through the system itself somewhere, you know. It's not like if I was doing it, I couldn't hear it, but you guys could.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's I don't know what's going on. Anyway, all good. It looks like it just disappeared for the moment. So
yeah, I don't hear it again. I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, maybe it was a cable to an amp or something. Maybe there was some RF interference. But anyway, all good. So anyway, we'll edit all that out on the final once the stream is archived.
On the cutting room floor, so to speak.
I don't even remember what we were talking about up until then. Anyway, I've totally lost my train of thought here, so I'm not sure what we were
just
talking
gabbing
about.
randomly, I think.
Yeah, I think so. TJ asks, is Squier closing down the more expensive models in favor of the affinity and lower? I don't know. I didn't know they were doing that. I was under the impression they had lots of really, their higher end Squier stuff still. I had no idea. I haven't heard about that. So that's interesting.
In regards... Yeah, I just came in here, and in regards to the Squier stuff, I think it's more along the lines of Fender again, you know, trying to re-streamline. And I mean, as far as I remember hearing, they were starting to do that last year.
Okay.
It's just like same thing as the baritone Jazzmaster Squier. Everybody hated that Antigua finish on it, and I agree. It had its moments, but it wasn't that attractive. But now what they've done is they've put the same thing except totally black. Black hardware, black body, black neck, and really nice white inlay with a rosewood fingerboard, and it just looks so beautiful now.
The black hardware looks
like... Oh, it's totally black. Everything's black other than the inlays, the block inlays on the neck.
It's like a black matte or shiny?
I think it's glossy.
Okay.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, there it is there.
Cool.
And it's going for about 609 Canadian, which I think Anderton's is selling it for like $399.
In pounds?
Yeah, 399 pounds. So I know it's around the 600 mark, I guess. I guess that would be $5 something US.
That is an interesting sort of finish. I don't dislike it, but I don't know how much I like it. It's just weird. But actually, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Yeah, apparently it was a popular finish in the 70s.
Okay, that cool. Antigua finish,
yeah.
Is there a color to it, or is it just gray? Because I'm colorblind with a lot of colors. but it always looks gray to me. Is there a color in it?
Got like
It
a
looks
gray
kinda
gold or
cream-
something or other.
Creamy gold, yeah.
Yeah,
Green, maybe?
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like a tarnished green that goes into like I guess like you could almost even barely say like a maybe even a matte gray or something.
Gibson had a gray to light sunbursts for a while, didn't they? On Les
Yeah.
Pauls. I didn't think that was attractive either.
They got one out now that I think is really sharp, which is almost like a reverse white burst, except it starts in the center. It's white, like alpine white, and then when you go out to the edges, all the edging where the burst is actually all natural.
Oh, I thought you were about to talk about this one, man. I thought you were talking about that one for a second there. I remember seeing that, the Gibson Nighthawk. It's kind of got that grayish, silvery kind of vibe. But there was also other colors of that too, I think. They had some weird ones. Here we go.
I've
Maybe
seen
it
that
says-
color before, but it's pretty.
Was anyone familiar with the, I think they were mostly in the 70s, the Ibanez solid body artists. They were like double cutaway Les Paul style. I played one of those in the latter part of the 70s. It was great guitar. And some people were looking for them. Someone I know just picked one up for $75.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Japanese
Oh, my
made
God.
beauties.
An original from 79 or 78. Every time I've looked for one, they've been like $300 to $600.
Yeah.
Gold hardware, nice
Yeah,
guitars.
my friend Brian's
from
got
the
something
side,
like that, I think. Yeah.
you
Sorry.
could see how many pieces the body was made out of. It looked like a puzzle.
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful.
But
How about this one?
Yeah, there's one.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it looked like that.
yeah, far out.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's something else. I've never seen one like that. My friend Brian actually has one of these. I think he's an SG 300 or something,
I
maybe.
think they called it the violin finish when I had one. It was nice. Played well.
Yeah, they're great guitars. There's no doubt about it. They're up there with,
That's like the SG.
yeah.
Thick body too, like a Les Paul.
Has a detail on the bridge here. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
No,
Pixie
tailpieces.
recently had somebody give him a Ibanez Les Paul custom style with like the bolt-on neck and that, and he redid that back up because like the gold hardware on the bridge was just corroded like crazy because
Yeah, wow.
the guitar originated from out around the Pacific. So it was out on the West Coast, so it had all that salt water and crap. And it just messed up everything. He said he tried to polish the gold out on the tuners, and the gold started coming off, and he was like going, okay, that's enough polishing. I'll just leave it how it is before it gets ruined.
Yeah,
The
fair
Ibanez
enough.
I had, all the gold came off the bridge and the tailpiece from my hand. Came off like quickly.
Must be
Yeah,
some sort of cheap spray or something. The plating might not be as might not be the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to admit, on my Imperial FM, if I probably played it more, the gold would probably be off on the bridge. Right now, it's just slightly starting to come off a little bit. And I know Jeff doesn't necessarily use the crappy parts on those, so it's kind of interesting.
I had a 68 Les Paul custom, and the gold was wearing off the bridge and the tailpiece too.
Yeah.
It's 1968 though.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, I think sweat will corrode a lot of those sort of things too. Those gold screws you get on the Strats and that they go brown pretty quick. It only takes a couple of months of playing sometimes before they look pretty aged. That's what you get when you buy a set of gold screws for $1.99. You can't expect too much out of them.
I'm just looking additionally here what TJ had said, and he said the classic vibe Strats are starting to vanish. The Simon Neil is now gone. 60 Squier Strat is now gone. And yeah, I mean the reality is it's the nature of, your own success. And what it was even as Pixie and many others have said, I think even you, I think, might have said it at one point in time, Shane, was about, you know, how those classic vibes are so close to the real thing. And when you start looking at if you're looking, say, at a classic vibe 50s Telecaster Squier, it's probably around, we'll say it's a $500 price point. Now, you start looking at that same thing in a Fender Standard Series, that's an $800 guitar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if there's that much of a price point and people are starting to buy the lower price because they know they're getting more extra bang for their buck, you know, it's understandable why Fender has also then started to cut back that series. And I mean, that was the thing with that series was, you know, just it's so popular. And what they did in turn, though, was like the new deluxe Jazzmasters, which are basically almost like the J Mascis signature model, just except of candy apple red, one with the tremolo and one with a hardtail.
Are those like I've seen Jazzmaster was always one of my favorite guitars, but what about the Jazzmaster modern players? I think it's very similar. They moved the tremolo part up closer to the bridge. I noticed that, and I've seen one Jazzmaster where they removed the upper controls. Yep. You know, you just have the toggle and the, you know, volume and tone.
Yeah, the modern players were made. Yeah, I think it, as Nugent said, they were Indonesia or crafted in China. I wouldn't be surprised at the Court China factory, but they were again meant to be a modern take and kind of mods that people did to their guitars. So I mean, there's a lot of people that have no use for the upper controls on a Jazzmaster. All they really want is just the toggle.
I almost never used them.
Yeah, exactly. So it only made sense. So they just tried to be innovative and try to be more hip and trendy. And there's a lot of cool, I think, guitars that came out of that series, but there were a lot of them that also had came with issues. So I think that was also another kind of reason for them to kill the line.
Well, I know the original Jazzmaster, that bridge, it toggled, you know. Yeah. And I remember at one point when I had my first one, which was a 65 maybe, and this was back in the 70s, and I thought, well, you know, to make this more stable and everything, I'll put a couple of dowels in it and make it rigid. It was terrible. It just didn't work. It constantly went out of tune so I had to put it back. But yeah, that guitar, they never went out of tune, those guitars. At least the ones I had.
Yeah, and I mean, that's it. Other people say they went out of tune like crazy. Other people said they're super stable. Again, all depends on the hardware configuration, the strings used, you know, so many factors. And even now with the amount of stuff that they've got for bridge options and so forth, it's just, you know, it's just crazy.
On my old Firebird, it had a tremolo that hooked on to the like a bent piece of metal. That I could dive bomb like a Strat all the way down to the strings just wobbling on the fretboard, and that stayed in tune too. And then I said, "Well, you know, I'm going to get me a Strat."
Hey, Terry and Wayne,
get a Strat that stayed in tune.
Terry and Wayne, did you see my my HSS Strat earlier that I showed?
No.
Oh, nice.
Huh.
It's a deluxe, made in Mexico.
Okay.
Humbucker in the bridge with an S1 switch.
Yeah. What's that S1 switch?
When you engage the switch, it takes the humbucker and it takes out one of the coils on it, so we actually plays and sounds just like a single coil. So so if you want a little more bite, you know, from your humbucker, you leave the S1 switch out. But when I press, it's inside the volume switch.
Oh,
all you do is push it, and it takes out one of the humbucker coils, and it sounds like Singer's coil, and
Nice.
a little less powerful, but
Is that the only position that works on, or can you also use it for? Does it out of phase anything else? Do you know?
this one it just works with the humbucker.
Okay, cool.
I've seen some of them that they do work with the other coils in some hocus pocus way that I'm really not quite aware of what that is,
Yeah,
but
you'll never
look at
use
one
those
that
others.
enables the 7-way switching.
something like that. Yeah,
Kind
you know,
of thing.
you know, you can make it so complicated that you'll never remember how to use it, or you'll never actually use all the different ways that you can possibly use it.
Yeah, my 2004 Strat was the first first series of guitars with S1 switching, and I ended up using it in just the general. I mean, a very different switching to what you've got too. It was all these like all 3 pickups at once, or neck and bridge only, and all this kind of stuff, and they just didn't really work. Like, it was okay, but it wasn't a sound that I just went, wow, that's amazing. So in the end, I just took it out, put a normal one in. I just thought, I'm never going to use these in between positions, or not in between positions, but the switching
on this one is the switching on this one is just the standard five position switching
that's
that you
awesome.
get with Strats, and you can just engage the S1 switch to.
How smooth are the controls on new? That's a new Fender you got, right?
It is,
Brendan?
yeah.
How smooth is it to turn the knobs?
Fairly easy. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be careful not to hit it while you're getting a little carried away.
Because when I got my Telly in the 80s and my Strat in the early 90s, I replaced the pots right away.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't roll them with my finger. They just
they were tight, were they?
very, very stiff.
Oh, okay.
These roll pretty easy.
That reminds me of how the pots are on the Harley Benton Telly that I got. They take a little bit of effort, but they're not totally like that. You can't really do them with your fingers, but they are more heavier to roll than the other ones.
That's the only thing I don't like on this Les Paul Jr. The knobs they're not the flat top speed knobs. The like barrel, they're like tapered.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't, just move my hand over it. I have to actually turn it with my fingers.
Oh, the bell tops.
Yeah, but it's not my guitar, so I'm not going to change the knobs on it.
I think has it become your guitar though?
No, I don't think so. No, but I remember when I first borrowed it. Because even in this video, I put, thank you, Kirk, for loaning me this guitar, and I said, I made jokes about, how long will he let me keep it, and it's been a year, so
wow.
I probably won't show him this stream later.
Well, it's been so long since he's seen it, Wayne. If you change them on there, he probably won't remember anyhow. And if he says, "I don't remember this," it's been a long time since you've seen it.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't know. But
just buy him like an $8
$8
Epiphone and just swap it out and say, yeah, I'm sure this was the guitar you gave me.
No, that he wouldn't. That he wouldn't know.
In actuality, though, he probably could get an Epi LP Junior and probably have very close to the same sound.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
looked this one up because he wanted to know he didn't know like what year it was and stuff. So I used the serial number, and with the Gibson, I found out not only the date that it was made, but what factory too.
Wow, cool.
When I found out it was 2001, I forgot where it was made though. It was somewhere in the States though.
Yeah, nice. All right. So Michael asks, I'd be interested to hear what people know about the Rosewood band. I know very little, i.e. what sparked it. Yeah, go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, to my understanding, it is the Asian furniture factories that is the main cause for the whole Rosewood issue at the moment. They're over harvesting the foresting of the rosewood, so in turn, unfortunately, anything down below below the furniture manufacturing is getting nailed by the same bands. And I mean, there is like car companies, I think like Daewoo and others out there, or some Asian ones, and I think even some other ones from out of Asia that actually do use Rosewood in their dashboards. So I mean,
Yeah.
Does this affect? I mean, I know it will probably affect acoustics, but does it affect just the fingerboards on electric guitars, everything?
yeah, from what I understand, the last bit of information, if I remember correctly, you're fine to travel. I believe they said with up to like 12 pounds of rosewood, period. Rosewood or the 3 listed bubingas. So if you had instruments that had at least that amount of rosewood, you'd be able to travel around with, I don't think, very many issues. But as soon as you go over that, you might start running into problems.
Would this affect, like, I have a one Martin acoustic, an HD 28, which is all. Is there like restrictions on where I could go with that guitar?
Oh no! It's more a manufacturing standpoint, I think. So if you're buying a guitar built in the US or whatever, you're fine. It's only importing, I think, Rosewood guitars from Asia. I think that's my understanding. I could be wrong, but
no, it's a general, it's a global.
Oh, it's global, is it? Oh, okay, I thought it was just
global. And again, it's as Todd Flowers said, it's certain countries have different restrictions, and yeah, like as TJ Nugent says here, like Madagascar is another big area where it might be an issue. Just like certain countries will have a higher and more leaner or stricter kind of restriction on rosewood. Other places will be rather lax. I mean, because it's just like somebody was saying, like Germany, it's like to get like your license or something for to authenticate a piece of rosewood or rosewood on an instrument, you're looking like at least a week and like I think like 30-40 euro. And then there's other instances like they're saying here in the States, well, I shouldn't say here in the States because I'm not in the States, but they're in the States, they're saying it's like it could be 3 weeks, 3 weeks to 3 months and like up to $90. I remember reading some manufacturer was stating that as well too, was that it was like they said they would sell you the guitar with the rosewood fingerboard, but you would have to be prepared for a 30 to 90 day wait for the guitar to be able to have clearance to ship because of the rosewood regulations.
Wow.
Yeah,
So would
that's
be a
crazy.
guitar coming out of Asia or just any place in the world?
Any.
Wow.
Yeah, far out.
Would
it's
it only be crossing borders, or what if it was like from one state in the U.S. to another state? It's just from
No,
another country.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, inter-country is probably fine. It's only when it crosses a border into another country, then it becomes a little bit more kind of, more legally having to do so.
That's
So if
crazy, man.
if I wanted to sell Wayne that guitar, there'd be no problem because he's one state away from me. But if I wanted to sell it to Terry or sell it to Shane, there'd be problems.
Yeah, you would have to contact the Nature and Wildlife and get them to send you a documentation for the rosewood. And as for the major manufacturers, it's not a big issue if you already have a big stack of rosewood. Where it's going to become an issue is any rosewood that you acquire as of January 1st, 2017. That's when those regulation and laws are going to become more into place. And you already have seen manufacturers starting to move away from rosewood. I can't remember the guy's name on YouTube, but he's in Brazil. and he reviews a crap load of the Harley Bentons. And he just recently was demoing the Harley Benton 7-string that they sell.
Those are the
That was
Chinese
good.
guitars, Harley Benton?
Yeah, Chinese produced, but they are Toman's house brand. And the fingerboard on it looked like it was rosewood, but it's, what was it? He said it's like Rocasia wood or rosenlight wood or something, but it's actually a maple
Rosenlight?
fingerboard. Yeah, it's what it is though. Is it's a maple fingerboard in the same kind of way of like how, like on my Flying V, like I said, I didn't realize all this time. I thought it was rosewood, and it's not rosewood. It's roasted maple.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
That's the
And that's
darkest roasted maple I think I've ever seen.
yeah, and so like it's really hard to tell that is like, that's maple. You'd swear that was a piece of rosewood.
That's what it looks like.
Almost like ebony.
Yeah. Well, I did kind of put a little bit of ebony stain on it.
Yeah, it looks very black.
He cheated.
Yeah, so it's further a little darkened up, but I mean the same thing is, if you looked on the fingerboard of the guitar the guy was showing, you could actually see it almost had little stripes in it. It almost looked a bit like, you could say, like a tiger wood or a tiger striped wood.
Yeah, wow.
But if you looked at it far away, you'd swear it was a full black, darkened piece of rosewood, but it's this like, ebonized kind of rosewoodized kind of maple.
I wonder if this will hold up for a long time in terms of guitars. I wonder whether or not it's just like a 1 to 2 year thing, or whether it's just going to go, because I reckon it's just going to be a huge pain in the ass.
Where does this law or ruling come from? Where does
Yeah,
it
that's a
come
good question.
From the United States, from Europe?
I think it's got to be Europe. Like that's all I can think of. I'm not sure. CITES is the name of the organization. They are a global organization as far as I know or remember, but they're the ones that I guess regulate wood. And I mean, it's the same thing with like Gibson not being able to use ebony or whatever. It's like, but of course that was their own mismanagement.
They can't use
whatever.
ebony anymore.
Yeah, they had their problems a little while back with tone woods.
Yeah.
Where does rosewood come
I'm
from?
not even going to go into the. I'm not even going to.
Does rosewood come from? Where does it come from?
Tone
Rosewood
polish
tree?
debate.
I think it's, you can get it anywhere. I think it's pretty common in the States too. Like that's why they use it. It's one of the more.
What kind of tree is it? Is it a rosewood tree? I don't.
I don't know either, man.
Yeah, it's a tree, I believe.
If it's not, someone's been lying to us all this time.
Yeah. It's just this putty they harden in the oven, and it looks like wood. That's what it is.
Coffee
There you
Dog's
go.
mentioning a lot more kind of information on it here.
Cool.
And yeah, Taylor is a big one as well too, for pushing for non-perfect kind of things. And I mean, I've seen some of the like more striped rosewood and striped ebony in that. I think they got one. It's called like a moonbeam or something like that, ebony, but it's just got this beautiful like brownish kind of wavy line through it beside the regular dark ebony that you normally get. So it's almost like a black and blonde, I guess you could say.
Here we go, guys. Oh, sorry, Steve, go ahead.
If you were to take all the rosewood usage, for, I don't know, furniture or whatever it gets used, I wonder how much of that percentage actually goes to use for guitars. We're talking about, 5% of the rosewood usage. Is it 50%? I just, if that number even exists.
I would have to say it couldn't even be.
It's like the Nature Channel now.
Yeah, I
There we
mean,
go.
like,
Yeah.
it couldn't be like more than like maybe 10%. Oh, there's Harry
It would mostly
Rosewood.
be- It would mostly be fingerboards, right?
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Mostly.
There's
No,
a lot of acoustics are mahogany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah, we've got
occasional
plenty
guitar.
of these type of trees here too. So I'm pretty sure it's pretty common kind of material.
Actually, it looks like a pretty nice wood.
But,
Yeah,
What do you guys-
there's a sorry
Live tree
to,
looks
sorry, go
nice.
ahead.
I was gonna say there's a lot of wood down in Australia that has actually been starting to pick up some kind of use in that. Like I think the purple wood is one that's based down around there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Not too sure about that one, but a lot of our acoustic guitars are all made here. The ones that are made here all have obviously local woods that are comparable to anything else. I think,
Yeah, because I know there's a builder down there. He does custom builds, and that's one of the things that he was promoting is that all the wood is based on Australia's forestry, like
Okay, cool.
plants. And I was like, I was looking at some of the stuff, and it's just mind blowing, like the colors and the details in a lot of these woods. And it's just like, my God, if you ever tried to buy something like that from Gibson, they'd probably want like about, they'd probably want like 30 to 80,000 for something like that. And here you could buy it from a guy down there in Australia, build it into whatever you want for like maybe 5 or 10.
Yeah, exactly. We had a question before the power went out earlier. Ben Chan actually asked, "Hey fellas, what's your thoughts on P90 or PAF pickups installed on an acoustic guitar?" Which is a bit of an odd question. I mean, for me, I wouldn't put a P90 in an acoustic guitar, but if you only play one guitar and you occasionally want to play it electric, maybe do it. But my thought would be you'd also need to cover up the hole with one of those.
Wouldn't a
feedback
P90
buffers.
feedback like crazy in an acoustic?
I think any magnetic pickup would.
Yeah. The hole would be the problem, I think, more than anything else. You definitely need to plug the hole. Look, check out JJ Cale's Harmony guitar. Like, Google that. It's a guitar that had 5 pickups. It was originally an acoustic guitar that he ended up just modding everything out of, and he made it sound pretty good. So maybe it's a possibility, but I wouldn't expect that to sound or play as well as an electric guitar with P90s or PAF pickups. There'd just be no way.
As TJ Nugent said, basically that's a jazz guitar, really.
Yeah, well, that's it. And you're going to have inherent feedback problems. I mean, I've played a few of those jazz. I've played the Joe Pass guitar, which was kind of like an arch top, semi-acoustic electric guitar with humbuckers, but it was just feeding back. Like I couldn't get a dirty sound out of it and make it usable. So
yeah, it would be too hollow in that regard. And in regards to the humbucker thing, though, I mean, John Lennon did it. Kurt Cobain in turn did it again because of John Lennon. They had acoustics with humbuckers in it.
Yeah, I'll show you JJ Cale's guitar. I'll bring this up. Oh, that's the back. Where's the front? Here we go.
If you have somebody who really knows what they're doing with it, they could probably figure out how to make it work, but they've probably got a bunch of hoops to jump through before it does.
Yeah, see, this is JJ Cale's Harmony guitar. Cost him $40, and he modded it. So this actually had a hole, I'm pretty sure, in it, and he, even though, or I had some sort of thing. I remember him saying that
could be just hollow with no hole. Because one of my first electric guitar I bought in a pawn shop for $25, and it was a Harmony Stratotone.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was completely hollow, but it looked solid. It weighed like nothing. It was like a shoebox with a neck on it.
My Hofner Beetle bass was like that. It was hollow with no hole.
Yeah, it had nice pickups, though. Those Diamond pickups with the gold foil in them.
Mm-hmm.
But the guitar was terrible.
JJ might have been the first steampunk designer, I think, looking at this. It's crazy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, look at that.
TJ Nugent actually mentions perfectly what this gentleman or whatever was talking about before. The Godin 5th Avenue Kingpin has a P90 natural arch top hollow body electric.
Okay. What was it called? Sorry, say it again.
Godin 5th Avenue Kingpin.
Guy spent $40 for that
Yeah.
guitar, but it looks like you got $4,000 worth of stuff in it.
Yeah. I mean, these look pretty cool. Yeah. That's the Canadian brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very Gretsch looking.
We don't see too many of these guitars in Australia. They tried, but I don't think they did very well. Not this particular one, but just Godin in general. We don't see them for whatever reason. They're quite nice. Like that's great, man. That's like the T-Bone Walker sort of vibe.
Yeah, that looks nice, that one.
But yeah. These are really cool. What do you guys think of these new Supro guitars that have come out? Have you had a chance to check them out?
I've looked at them, but I have to honestly say my fascination with Supro only goes as far as the amps.
Yeah, the amps are fantastic. Yeah, I don't know much. I haven't looked into these properly yet. I just thought about it before and I loaded up the page, but
They kind of look all
they look
right.
pretty cool.
I've
I
only
just
seen
hope
pictures
this
of them.
isn't a floating bridge. If that's a floating bridge, burn the
Or even
guitar.
like movable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just rests on it like a
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of that.
or something.
Those kind of things. They need to be secured. Hopefully they are. I would be surprised if they decided not to do that. But yeah, they've got an interesting sort of vibe about them. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, retro look, right?
If it
Yeah.
moved all over the place, you'd never get it to stay in tune. Or stay
Oh,
into
well, that's the huge problem with a lot of the guitars that have those floating bridges. They're awful.
Well, yeah, if you use, I mean, everyone uses light gauge strings now. Use a light gauge string and they move all over the place while you're
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, they've got an interesting sort of vibe. I don't know. They're kind of a mix between a Gretsch, what are those other Duesenbergs, and I don't know. Just
Yeah. It's like I
And a
said,
Les
it
Paul
reminds
almost,
me
maybe.
of the Gumby headstock.
Yeah.
yeah. I've just got to step away from the computer for 2 secs. I know John's just joined here, so welcome, John. I'll be back in 2 secs. So
Hey,
feel free
John.
to.
Hey guys,
Hey,
how's it
John.
going?
How
Hello.
you doing?
I'm only
Not
going
too
to stay
bad
on
myself.
for 5 minutes. I'm actually across the road from work at the park. I just went to grab something to eat. Saw the thing was on. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just come and say hi.
Weather looks
How you
good
guys
there.
all doing?
Okay. So what are you? You're outdoors in a park.
I'm in a park at the moment. I'm across the road from my work, and they've torn this place apart. They're doing some work underneath it on the drainage systems, and they're also got fences up everywhere. I think they're redoing the thing. So yeah, it's a lovely, hot, scorching day here in Sydney, and nothing but blue up in the sky.
Well, here in northwest New Jersey, it's 2 degrees Celsius and light snow.
Oh, so pretty much the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Just flip it over upside down.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. And Terry's wearing my shirt.
Yeah, he does that often these days.
And the matching Superman pants.
There you go.
Oh man, I've got the shirt. I've got the
There
pants.
you go. You're the height of fashion, Tara.
So who's got exciting stories to tell?
Oh, we've been pretty much just running everything through. I'll give you a look at
Nope.
my new Stratocaster, an HSS.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Got a humbucker in it. Maple neck.
Is this an addition to the collection, or have you swapped it out for something?
Well, I did swap it out, but I swapped it for an amp.
Oh,
Okay.
show the headstock again. Show
Oh,
the-
it's
Yeah,
got
what
this-
was the
it's got-
headstock?
It's got the big 70s headstock on it.
Nice.
I still like
And
them. They're all right.
I've got a hankering to put a Strat together with a right-handed neck on it, so I've got the upside-down headstock, and I want to do a big one.
Yeah.
You know, supposedly they say that the bigger headstock gives you a little more resonance. I can't say at the moment I can agree or disagree with that, but I was a little interested, when I saw the guitar, and it was, advertised as the 70s CBS era kind of bigger headstock on it. I said, you know what? Let me give it a look.
Well,
Yeah.
Robin Trower's signature guitar, his Fender Strat is 70s,
Yeah,
70s side with the bullet at the top.
yeah. Yep, with the bullet at the top, right?
And
So,
he
you
said-
I
know,
don't like
it still
I don't
sounds
like the
good
bullet
now.
truss rod, but I like the. To me, it's visually appealing. The 70s larger headstock, but again, that's probably the little bit of the Hendrix influence.
yeah, there is that to it, though, isn't there? But yeah,
I
it
had
is
other-
a bit of an interesting look.
I had one 70s, I think it was a 76 Fender Strat, and it was the 3-bolt neck.
Yeah,
And it never was stable. It always rocked around,
yeah.
and it was like one of these milky white ones, and it was ash, but it wasn't light like when you get an ash Fender now. It weighed a ton. It was really heavy, and the neck wobbled. And I
I think that's
I
why they
love
ultimately went away from the 3-point neck.
And that was in the days where every Fender back in the 70s, every time you bought a Fender, you had to shim the necks.
Yeah.
And that one was, I think, one of the first ones that had the little set screw,
Mhm.
so you couldn't adjust it. And then when you used a set screw, then it really wasn't stable.
Yeah,
A friend of mine's
it's
got a
just-
7-inch Strat, and it must have been one of the few good ones because it's a pearler of a guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Got the 3-bolt neck, but it's never given him any trouble, and he's not willing to get rid of it.
There's a lot of
Yeah, that would have
70s.
been.
A lot of 70s guitars got bad raps. Like I remember in 1974, the Gibson Les Pauls, they were having multi-piece backs on the Les Pauls.
Yep.
They had a seam down the middle where you could see from all ends. No one wanted them. And then in the 80s, I picked up a 1974 Les Paul. It had the stripe, it was put together like kind of like plywood. It was the best sounding Les Paul I ever had.
Yep. It's just like those Electras. It's the same thing. They were done layer, but they were still amazing guitars.
Well, the Ibanez Artist I was talking about
Yep.
before, we had a lot of pieces, and it was a great guitar.
Sorry about that.
just
Go
goes to
on.
show you that you can't have one guitar and say that it's the icon of the entire line. They're all going to be different. Some are going to be great. Some are going to be basically not much more than firewood. But
Yeah.
Well,
The worst Strat that I've ever had was a 1965 Strat. It was dead. It just plink. It had nothing going.
the CBS era one.
Pre-CBS, it was right on the
Pre-CBS.
end. Right on the end. It was 65. It had all the older stuff. It was probably made all from parts, 63, 64, I don't know. And it was mint condition. And this was like 15 years later. It was terrible.
You got to wonder sometimes, when you see businesses, in this instance, Fender, right on the cusp or when they're going to sell out to somebody else. You got to wonder if the product quality doesn't fall off simply because they know they're not going to deal with it much longer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So the Super Bowl must have finished. Everyone's joining now. What's going on?
I was going to say, Ahmed live from the airport.
Mark, hey, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just making it real quick because the halftime show's on the Super Bowl. Watching the game. Yeah.
I told you about
How's
that
everybody
halftime
doing?
show.
Yeah, I'm not a Gaga fan.
So what is
It's
it?
been crazy
Halftime
out
now?
here. Yeah. Falcons are winning 21-3, I believe.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow.
Wow, there's a surprise. I figured it'd be
Yeah.
the other way around.
Well,
Exactly.
I have my TV plugged into my mixer. I could pump in some audio if you like.
No, we had enough of that from you earlier, Wayne.
No. I don't even have it on.
No, I'm only kidding.
I don't even watch CFL football, so what does that tell you?
Yeah. Well,
So
the fact
Mark-
is,
go ahead.
the game's in Houston, so it's been crazy out here.
Yeah, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah. In fact, today I was working a flight going to Cancun, and I saw Gary Clark Jr. I saw his equipment in there. I saw like his backup guitars. I saw the name. I'm like Zapata, and I think one of the symbols in the case it said, Gary Clark Jr. I'm like, wow, he must be on the plane. And, being sneaky, I went to go see where he was sitting at on the computer. Didn't find it, so I was just like, I just went up the jetway. Sure enough, he comes walking by, just Said, "Hey, love your music. Got both your
Yeah.
albums. Real cool guy. Kind
Oh,
of tough."
awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you're getting a new guitar too, hey? I heard. You
What's that?
mentioned you mentioned you were getting a new guitar.
Yeah, I am trying to. We get a little profit sharing from work, so I figure I treat myself to 2017 Gibson maybe.
Yeah,
Whoa.
beautiful, man. Cool.
What kind of Gibson?
I was thinking about getting the tribute model. Yeah,
A Les
just
Paul? Is that
the
is that what
Les
you're
Paul.
talking
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
the Les Paul, gold top. I like the gold tops.
about? Oh, that's nice.
What's that going for, Ahmad?
$8.99.
Oh wow.
Jeez, that's not bad. That's not bad
That's
at
not
all.
bad at all.
Do they make
No.
Les Pauls with P90s anymore?
Yep.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
they have the 60s tribute that has a P90 in it.
Yeah.
They put a lot
Yeah.
of ProBuckers in them now, don't they?
Yeah, I think this one has 490s, I believe, and both, 490, blah blah blah. I'm not just 100% on the specs, but the high
Yeah.
output has classic 57s. The high output model, which is like $12.99. It has the shaved hill and the robot tuners and all that jazz.
Yeah,
Robo
the high performance
tuners.
model,
Yeah.
HPs.
How they making
Yeah.
out with those Robo tuners? They were a flop right off the bat.
Yeah, do they still offer? They still offer them new?
On the high output models, they have all the robot tuners on all those. In the traditional models, they just have the regular tuners or whatever tuners. The standard comes with the Grovers, I
Yeah, I was
believe.
watching a couple of those Chapman videos where the Anderton music videos where they were reviewing guitars and they just strum the guitar and
Yeah,
Tunes itself, yeah.
yeah. The next revision that they did of those tuners has cleared up. I've heard a lot of the issues.
Well, originally too is they changed the neck and everything with it too. I think it was in 2015.
Yeah,
And,
the
the neck-
infamous 2015.
The neck was larger and everything else, and like basically sounded like everyone hated it.
Yeah,
the neck
everybody
was
liked
larger, fatter.
The
Wider.
fretboard width was increased
Yeah,
a
wider.
half-inch each side.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been weird.
it. Yeah. Hey, I gotta run, guys. Gotta watch the rest of the game. Y'all still on? I'll get back with you guys. All right.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Take care,
Take it
man.
easy.
Later.
Take it. He wants to catch the end of Lady Gaga here.
Yeah. I had no idea I was scheduling this on a major sporting event day, but anyway.
That's what I was just going to say.
Goes to
I was
show
like,
how
I
little I
wondered
know
why
about it.
there was. I was saying to myself, I wonder how many people there are going to be watching. I'm looking, and
Yeah.
with the relaunch, there's 26.
Yeah, we've had the after the Powergate incident, we lost a lot of viewers, but anyway, it's all good. It's all good.
So this will be the infamous Powergate episode.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. I'll
This is-
try and glue the videos together on YouTube. There's a thing you can join them somehow, so I'll see if I can work that out, and I'll give it
Way
a go.
better than the tone polish gate.
yeah. Someone mentioned that actually in the chat before about the tone polish, the Gibson tone polish.
God.
What is that? What is
it's
tone
just-
polish?
Oh, come on, mate. I gotta get this stuff, mate. This will change your sound of your guitar. What it does, or what it claims it does, is makes your guitar sound better once it's clean.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Relic.
Gibson's claim was that their tone polish would give your Gibson guitar more tone.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't actually
And then
find the product,
the funny
Sorry.
thing was that the product was backed and being testimonied by a woman who only had a degree in interior design, but she apparently knew how their tone polish
Oh, my
was going to
goodness.
create this amazing tone under your Gibson, and that you must
Is-
buy it to put on
Is
your
this
Gibson.
like when you buy like a brand new Relic Strat? It sounds older.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Those interior design degrees are very much underrated.
Yeah. So you don't understand that the tone polish makes the guitar breathe more as well. That's the same. It's the same thing. It's got
And the relicking too.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
surprised
that's it.
that somebody didn't go out, get the Gibson tone polish, and take it, have their Gibson, and do a comparison with the Gibson tone polish, something like Pledge, and something like something else.
Yeah, like a shootout video.
Versus
Yeah,
Simple
Yeah,
Green.
do a shootout. Yeah, and Pledge would probably Pledge
Yeah.
#1.
Arm roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Armor All, I gotta say, Armor All's the best amp cleaner stuff
Oh,
there
yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
the best. It absolutely is the best.
You
Makes
know,
everything
I don't know
slippery,
what
though.
kind of paint is on my American Standard Telecaster. It's 87 or 88, so it's almost 30 years old. I've been playing it for 30 years. There's no wear on that paint. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that guitar hasn't taken a breath since they coated it with the paint. No breathing whatsoever. It's
Yeah.
been played to death. You know, I did all my gigs with that guitar, and I still play it every day. And the paint it's like iron.
Yeah. Most of them are. That's kind of why I felt kind of guilty and a little bit dirty not wanting to purchase that Relic guitar. The fact that I just knew inside that something's not right about that. And that's why these guitars don't wear that much unless you're seriously playing a heavy pick and digging
your
up
other
all the
telly, your 52 reissue telly.
Yeah.
I had one of those. That's lacquer paint. That's different, right? Because that does wear off in time.
Yeah, it goes sort of. It's different. It is a gloss, but I don't know if it's. I don't know exactly what it is, but basically it goes dark. There's patches where I've like worn into this. Like you can't wash that out.
It wore out where the guitar stand was hitting it. It even wore somewhat.
Oh, okay.
You know.
It also could be a very, very thin coat of lacquer, which would also speed up that kind of process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Well, I
just
think the
absorbing
American
some of the
Standard- I
oils
don't
from
think
your
that-
hand and your arm too. Maybe.
I don't think the American Standard is lacquer. I think that's like whatever that other. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah,
No,
nitro finish or something.
I think the American Standard is
Like a urethane.
lacquer.
Isn't it?
Yeah, anything out of the Mexico plant is the poly coat. So
I think that's right.
so American Standard. Let's see.
Someone, a coffee dog just wrote it's mono urethane.
Urethane. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can nitro hold a static charge?
Nitro, keep your
I don't
heart
know.
going.
Yeah.
Get it breathe.
So, John, you're always outside when you join, mate. What's with this outdoors thing you keep doing?
Mate, it's your timing, mate. You know, if you let me schedule them, then we'll be right. I'll be inside. No, like I said, man, I'm just on my lunch break from work.
Cool.
So I just went out to grab something to eat, and then I just saw the notification on the phone. So I just thought I'd quickly say hi. Actually, I'll probably better nick off and get back in there.
Yeah, no worries.
Nice short week this week. I'm only working today and Wednesday.
Oh, cool.
I've got Tuesday and Thursday down at the stadium locally here, seeing a couple more Springsteen concerts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty cool. I just came back from Melbourne after catching 2 shows there, and
Yeah, wow.
going wild, mate.
Yeah, fantastic, man. Bruce is awesome. He puts on a good show.
Yeah, definitely.
He's from New Jersey, you know.
That's the thing. Where all the cool dudes come from.
Yeah,
Really, huh?
and all the attitude.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
And actually,
yeah.
we get known for all our mobsters too.
Yeah.
We're frequently known as Jersey wise guys.
Uh-huh.
Just to
You know
confirm
it's
what
too
cost-
straight for that, mate.
Yeah, really.
Anything new on the guitar scene for you, John? Before you go, anything that you've?
Mate, you know very well that I do have a new piece of equipment, and I haven't really had a chance to put it through its paces yet. Between stuff happening with work and then gallivanting around the country, going to concerts, But yeah, that shaky Jimmy that I got off you,
Yeah.
I definitely got to have a bit of fun with that soon.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, the Shaky Jimmy's a good fun pedal. It's
Well, like I did give it a go, like the day it arrived, and I just couldn't dial anything good out of it. So I don't know what magic you did. So I've got to get back. But that's just me and my settings and whatever else. So
turn the depth all the way up on it. Turn the hue most of the way up, and I think the middle control sits around 1 o'clock. It's something like that anyway. Or one of them's all the way up. I think the hue and the depth are most of the way up. And yeah,
What type of pedal is that? What type of pedal?
It's basically a Leslie type thing, and it's also got a chorus effect. It's really awesome. Like it. Yeah, I used it a lot.
I just hadn't man. I was Arvo shift that week, so I'd I got you to mail it to my work, and I picked it up walking in. Didn't finish until 10, and obviously couldn't go too crazy with it being an apartment dweller. But yeah, I'll once I get all the get myself a few spare hours, I'll rewatch the video and copy what you did and see if I can get a bit more back on track.
No worries. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. I find the chorus mode I never used. I always used the other mode, the Leslie's type sound, and I think that's where that pedal shines. And you can get a really deep sound out of it. Like I said, I swore by that for a long, long time, and it's still.
Oh no, man! I know it's always got a good rap, that thing. And plus, my pedal board's all disassembled at the moment, so I was just plugging in different shit at random and trying to get something happening. But no, I'll definitely get into it and hopefully have something a bit better to report next time we all get together.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, no problems. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it.
No worries, guys. I better nick off. Good news is saying a quick hi, though.
Take care, John.
Take care.
Yep. Have a good one.
Keep it going, and I'll watch the rest of it on the YouTubes when I finish up tonight.
Yeah, no worries, man. Cool. All right, take care.
Guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, John.
See ya.
Say, Shane, did you post a question a while back about a compressor, where to put it in your effects chain? Was that you?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Anything? Does anybody here use a compressor pedal?
I've tried to use them a few times. I just kind of don't like the feeling of my dynamics getting taken away from me so much. It can work on rhythm stuff, but for lead playing, I don't know. I'm not convinced it's something that I'll use, to be honest.
I started using them back in the early 70s. The first one I had was an Dan Armstrong, the orange squeezer that plugged on right in.
Yeah,
the guitar. That was actually the best compressor I ever had. It was a little tiny box.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say, compressor, you could almost use it like a boost effect.
Yeah, you can, but it does something different. Like sometimes hearing all of the frequencies at an even volume works, and other times it doesn't. Like I don't know. It's one of those really subjective things. Some people like that a lot, and other people don't. Like if you hit a soft note, it's going to bring it up in volume, so you do lose your touch to some extent, depending on how it's set and depending on the type of pedal. But then there's other pedals that people swear by. So
you would lose dynamics live.
Yeah.
Don't you put them in the front of the chain? From what you're where
that's what I understand is compressors are in the front.
First one.
in the front?
Yeah.
Like right off the bat in the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can work either way. Like I've heard people say they use them after overdrive pedals in their chain as well. So you can use them at either end, but it also brings up the noise floor. So if you do have them after a dirt pedal, you're going to hear more buzz. It's just the way that it goes. So I've tried them in different positions. I've tried them live. I would prefer a volume boost for my own type of playing, but compressors work in the right circumstances, especially for recording clean guitar sound. I think that it works extremely well doing that.
That's nice, yeah. I haven't used any pedals in over 5 years now, because when I had to replace everything, because I replaced everything the first time in 2006 after I had a plug, and the second time I just bought the Fender amp, the Mustang amp, because to replace all my pedals, it would have cost me another like $500 to $1,000 again.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just got the amp, and I've just been using it ever since. The only thing is, because I have it connected to my mixer, so I can adjust the levels for when I record, and the little the headphone jack, and I have to like Scotch tape it all down now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, and it's you know, you can't change any of this stuff on here. When something wears out, you just have to like throw the amp away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
It's all started in plastic, you know.
Yeah. That's the tone plastic right there, mate. That's where the magic comes from.
Yes, it's Scotch tone plastic.
They're cool amps, though, Mustangs, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mine's over 5 years now. No, actually, well, it was 2011. I got it in 2011.
I just traded my Mustang 3 in for that Telecaster I was showing you. It's got a tobacco burst color on it, so its name is Smokey.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. It's a good nickname. Yeah, very cool. All right, so I'm thinking I might have to shoot off pretty soon, guys. What time is it? 12:38. So we may have to pull the pin on the stream. I got a few things I want to do, including have some more food.
Pull the pin.
It's always lunchtime. Always lunchtime.
Food is good.
Pull
Yeah, I
the
gotta
pin
get some
like a
tennis.
grenade.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Is that a term you guys use much? I don't know.
I think more like pull the plug.
Yeah, I'll pull the plug. Yeah, either way. Yeah, pull the pin. Yeah, pull the plug. I think you're right. I think you could
Pull the
be
pin
right
is a
there.
grenade, yeah. Fragmentation grenade. Pull the pin. Throw towards enemy.
Yeah. No, yeah. So that means like I got to run. You know, like pull the pin. I got to run. Like,
Yeah.
and then bolt the other way. So.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, I'm glad I'm glad I saw the email tonight, because I haven't been back with you guys in months.
Yeah, it's
I'm
been a long
sure.
time.
It was like November or October or something.
Yeah. No, it's been a while. So thanks for dropping in, mate. It's always good having you on.
No, yeah, had a good time. Always do.
As always.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, again, mate, for being a part of this. It's great. And when the time comes and they don't use this service anymore, whatever they replace it with is hopefully just as easy to join. So that's good news.
And if you need somebody, just bounce stuff off of, or just use me for, a guinea pig or, another.
Oh yeah, same here.
Somebody to
thanks,
broadcast
yeah.
to it, just to fuss with it. Sure, just let me know. I'll be glad to
Yeah,
help.
yeah. You know,
Remember that if you just happen to develop a super virus.
There you go.
yeah, exactly. Now, Terry, thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. Nice to see
Good
everyone.
having you on. And thanks to everyone in the chat who's watched on YouTube as well. If you want to be a part of the live streams coming up, email me at intheblues@outlook.com and I'll add you to the email list so you can be a part of it. And all I ask is if you can wear headphones. That's the only prerequisite. And not be drunk. So, yeah.
Well, I should hope it's wear headphones and clothing.
And clothing.
Not
Yeah,
clothing
exactly. At least from here up. So when you're on camera, it's all good. Now, thanks heaps to everyone in the chat, and thanks to you guys again for being a part of this. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll chat soon.
Okay, guys. See you next
Cool.
time.
Thank
Have
you.
a good
Everybody.
evening, everybody.
Have a good one.
Everybody
See you.
take care.
Be good all. Bye.